This is Jordan, a Middle Eastern country that shares borders with Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Palestine. Despite being in such a volatile region, Jordan is surprisingly peaceful and stable. If you look at the map closely, you'll notice that there is instability and wars in all the neighbouring countries of Jordan. But despite being physically connected to these war-torn countries, Jordan has remained untouched by the turmoil engulfing these nations. But why is this so? Considering the fact that Jordan has been a weak country for thousands of years, facing invasions from many empires due to its location, as it is on the route to two holy cities like Jerusalem and Hebron. The Babylonians, Muslims, Crusaders, and the Ottoman Empire all have invaded this region. But then why is Jordan so peaceful and stable today? The answer lies in its geography, history, and certain policies. Let's first understand Jordan's geography. 75% of Jordan's area is covered by deserts, making it one of the driest countries in the Middle East. With less than 245 millimeters of annual rainfall, only 12% of Jordan's land is arable, and as a result, 70% of its food is imported from outside. 90% of Jordan's population resides within this 12% of land, leaving most of the country almost uninhabited. Jordan is also not very fortunate when it comes to natural resources. While the rest of Middle East is rich in oil and gas reserves, Jordan only has one gas field, which powers just a single power plant. The rest of its energy needs are met through imports. Geographically and resource-wise, Jordan might be considered the most disadvantaged country in the Middle East, but this disadvantage also makes it somewhat safe. With no significant resources to exploit, global superpowers have little reason to become directly or indirectly involved in Jordan, unlike in Syria or Iraq. Looking at Jordan's history, it is quite the opposite of what's happening today. Throughout history, various empires invaded and ruled Jordan. Around 3,000 years ago, three kingdoms, Ammon, Moab, and Edom, ruled Jordan. However, shortly after, these kingdoms came under the Assyrian Empire's control. Then a few years later, the Babylonians conquered this region. By the 5th century, the entire area fell under the Persian Empire's control. Later, the Greeks defeated the Persians and took control of this area. After the Greeks, the Romans gained control of this area, bringing significant cultural and administrative changes. However, the Persian Empire rose once again, and by the late 6th century, there were numerous wars between the Romans and Persians over control of this area. Eventually, in the 7th century, Muslims defeated both empires, bringing the entire region under their control. For the next 400 years, the area remained under Muslims' rule. Then in the 11th century, the Crusaders attacked and captured this area. In the 12th century, Muslims defeated the Crusaders and regained control of this area. Until the 15th century, this area was ruled by Muslims who were Egyptian Mamluk. And then finally, in the 16th century, Jordan became part of the Ottoman Empire and remained so until the 20th century. But during the Ottoman Empire's rule, this area was mostly neglected. Apart from serving as a natural route to Jerusalem, it held little value for the Ottomans due to its lack of agriculture and access to any major seas. The lack of development caused significant discontent among locals who attempted multiple revolts against the Ottoman Empire in year 1900, 1905 and 1910, all of which were brutally crushed by the Ottomans. The Jordanians never forgot these and sided with the British Empire against the Ottomans during World War I. After the war ended, Jordan became a British colony and stayed this way until 1946. In 1946, Jordan gained independence and became an independent country known as the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, and its king was Abdullah Hussein. However, post-independence, Jordan faced a complex situation with the newly established State of Israel as its neighbour, as this state was opposed by the entire Arab world. 2 years after independence, in 1948, Jordan joined 7 Arab countries in a war against Israel, known as the First Arab-Israel War. During this war, Jordan captured the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Thousands of Palestinians accepted King Abdullah as their ruler, and these territories remained part of Jordan until 1967. However, in the Six-Day War of 1967, Israel attacked and captured the West Bank, Golan Heights, Sinai and Gaza. Further conflicts in 1970 and 1973 between Jordan and Israel inflicted significant losses on Jordan. During this period, thousands of Palestinian refugees settled in Jordan, and the country opened its borders to all of them. This had a severe impact on Jordan's economy and political system, leading to substantial instability until 1999. But then the question arises that what changed after 1999, which made Jordan one of the most stable countries in Middle East? Basically, in 1999, Jordan's then king was severely ill and appointed King Abdullah II as his successor. King Abdullah II took drastic steps after assuming power. His first priority was the security and welfare of his people, and it was due to these steps that, despite low levels of rainfall, 99% of Jordan's population today has access to clean drinking water. Jordan's Human Development Index is 0.74, higher than many of its neighbours. Given Jordan's rich history, King Abdullah also promoted tourism by leveraging Jordan's many historical sites. The city of Petra in Jordan is one of the 7 wonders of the world. The way these mountains have been carved into homes is truly a miracle. Today, millions of people from Europe, America, and other Asian countries visit Jordan just for tourism. However, there are many historical sites in Syria and Iraq as well, so why don't the tourists go there? The obvious answer lies in the law and order situation in Iraq and Syria. For tourism, the most important factor is safety and security. Surrounded by wars, ensuring this was a priority for King Abdullah, who signed peace treaties with Israel as soon as he came to power. Maintaining friendly relations with Israel automatically made Jordan an ally of the UK and the United States, who began providing financial aid, which King Abdullah used for the welfare of his people. However, making a peace deal with Israel was a double-edged sword because the entire Arab world was against Israel. So why didn't Arab countries take any action against Jordan? A major reason is that Jordan is the only country that has hosted the most refugees in the Arab world, and perhaps globally. Jordan hosts 3 million Palestinians, nearly 1.1 million Syrians, and thousands of Iraqis, Chechens, and Armenians. By accommodating so many refugees, Jordan has earned the respect of other countries, as these refugees would have otherwise caused problems for Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries. Despite Jordan's peace deal with Israel, Arab countries are pleased with Jordan for providing refuge to millions and treating them well. This is also why the Arab Spring in 2011 had minimal impact on Jordan, as King Abdullah quickly addressed the protesters' demands and dealt with them calmly instead of using force. Due to this neutrality and hospitality, Jordan enjoys respect from all its neighbours because they understand the significant burden that Jordan is carrying on their behalf. However, this stability and neutrality of Jordan may soon be at risk. Over the past 1 year, Jordan has adopted a pro-Israel stance. Despite a year since the start of Israel-Gaza war, Jordan has not once offered to accept Palestinians from Gaza into their country, which is unusual given its past track record. Similarly, when Iran recently launched missile attacks on Israel, Jordan intercepted several missiles in its airspace. These actions left a very negative perception among Palestinians and Iran. The image of Jordan as a neutral country has been severely damaged. Palestinians living in Jordan and the Irani government are both angry with Jordan, and the situation could take a dangerous turn. There are reports that Palestinians in Jordan may stage massive protests and even revolt against the Jordanian government, which can cause significant concern for the authorities. Now, on the other hand, Jordan has always been deeply troubled by Iran's influence in Syria. King Abdullah considered Iran a major culprit in the Syrian civil war, which forced Jordan to accommodate millions of Syrian refugees, and it also caused Jordan's northern border to become highly vulnerable, as many militant groups now smuggle weapons through that border. For these reasons, King Abdullah cannot tolerate Iran or its proxies near Jordan's borders, and is willing to cooperate with Israel to counter them if necessary. It remains to be seen how this rapidly evolving geopolitical situation will impact Jordan. It seems that the most stable country in the Middle East may finally be heading towards a conflict. See you in the next video with another interesting topic. Take care.